Feeling football season coming up.
That's some pump music right there.
Gets me so amped.
Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
Yeah, pretty close.
Mouth.
That third voice you're hearing, that sultry third voice you're hearing is Damian Alpazar of 208 Monkeys, regular on the
guys.
Sweat Equity podcast.
Glad I could be back.
Eric Reginger.
I just don't want you to talk over this song. Get me amped the podcast.
Woo! It's almost like you need a war cry of some sort, like Toddy. God Almighty. I'm feeling the blood flow.
I'm assuming that this song is very important for some reason. I don't know why.
It's a theme to Hard Knocks, dude.
Yeah.
Oh.
If you're not a football nerd fan, this
No.
is
Imagine
HBO
slow-mo
show.
professional athletes all sweaty, hitting a bag thing and doing moves.
So,
No, I'll let you imagine that.
so every
I was.
every year
Fun
HBO
Philly.
follows a team behind the scenes, and it's like this is the jam to get you fired up, but they play it throughout the episode a lot,
Oh, wow.
and everything's in slow mo and like 4K now, and it's
Super
like
well done.
yeah, and they have like 50 shots of
See,
everything.
that I would be more interested in. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love football and I love watching sports, but that would interest me because it's the story of the struggle. Is
Okay.
what makes it more.
Oh,
The
no.
production of it.
right?
Dude.
That's crazy.
So they're putting out these. The first one, they get a little bit of lead time, because they haven't started yet. But they'll put out another episode in a week that's just as awesomely put together as the first one or whatever. It's like a movie. They're hour-long shows. I'm imagining they're getting tons of footage, but they're sick.
Wow.
It's 5 weeks training camp, and it's always like there's one episode that's big on getting cut, so they always have that. But the turnaround time is like they got 36, 48 hours basically to turn it around to get it ready to go.
Jeez.
And it's a lot of footage. You can just tell.
I feel bad for the editors that are working that. I mean, it's got to be a rush.
Well, we've talked about it. If you prepare enough, and it's been around, 10 years, 15 years?
Yeah.
Oh, they've got veterans who
Wild
know
now.
that thing inside and out.
Right, so you already know some storylines. Like, there's going to be ones about getting cut. They're going to follow always like a rookie that is very usually green.
An injured vet. That's always one.
There's going to be the head coach is always going to have a storyline, which is the one with Hugh Jackson's really Bummersville.
Bit of a downer.
Is like
Everybody in
Family
his family
died.
is dying.
So does it
Sorry, Hugh.
feel as epic as like the HBO 24 Hours or?
it's similar to that. I think 24 Hours copied this
Okay.
actually, but whatever it is, like as much as I want to hate on like NFL, like I'm 34 and you're like, God, am I really going to watch a bunch of guys that are in their 20s and really dedicate a lot of my life to this? And then
And the answer is yes.
This theme comes on and I'm like, I'm in.
I'm in
I'm
so
already in.
hard.
Yeah.
No
Oh,
lube.
man.
And the Bucks were last year, so those new to the podcast were at a sweaty Tampa Bay area, but it was interesting to see how Jameis Winston acts. He's a corny, weird kind of guy,
Right.
and so when he does these pregame speeches that don't make any sense, you're like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah. You're missing out. You need to watch one episode just to see the production of it all.
I would love
Because you'll
to.
be impressed.
Well, you guys let me know which will be a good episode. Just like, hey man, cut your teeth on this one.
I'll just start now with the Browns too, because they got the #1 pick. So there's a lot of interesting things with that. There's so many. You have 55 guys on a team,
Right.
and
yeah.
on an active roster, they have like
It's a lot of
80
personalities.
coming into
a lot
camp.
of A-type males and
Yeah. A lot of linemen playing ukuleles. Weird shit. They'll always find that guy.
rookie hazing always.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Always fun to
the
see.
Ukulele, the fat guy that plays
I can't
ukulele.
believe that big guy's playing that tiny guitar like that. Look at
You ever
that.
seen the little Hawaiian guy? The big Hawaiian guy who used to, unfortunately he passed, but he used to do the Somewhere Over the Rainbow on a ukulele. The dude was like 500 pounds, and he had a ukulele about this big, and he's like,
What was his 40 time?
Yeah,
That's the difference here.
well,
They also
Does he play
are pro
guard?
athletes.
no, he's not a pro athlete at
Exactly.
all.
Well,
He
then
was
he should
definitely-
be awesome at it if that's all he's doing.
he ain't no Jonathan Ogden. What's it called? The big guys in Hard Knocks. It's always surprising how fast they actually are. Like they would beat most of your friends in a foot race, and they're
And that's scary.
330 pounds.
It's a rhino chasing you down.
That's how crazy that sport's gotten. Like it used to be like back in the day, like 200 pounds was a guard, and now like 330 is not doing it.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Or if you're under, if you're 330 or under, and you're not bench pressing like an insane Larry Allen amount, that you don't make it in the league.
They're trucks.
Yeah,
They're pickup trucks, and they're
different than us.
We're breeding a subspecies. Do you think that if we do it because of what we've done to get football players and athletes to be bigger and better, that we're technically breeding a subspecies of human?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
love that.
There's something to that. I think, but they're not the best athletes like afterward. I feel like so I feel like you're getting a lot of guys from NFL that get cut or just don't make teams. They're starting to move to MMA and go over there, and that's going to be really interesting as that becomes more popular. I think
That dude from the Bucks, that defensive end,
Marcus Jones.
Marcus Jones, he
The
tried
Terminator.
It. Yeah.
Number 78. I mean, what?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
you get a guy that big
Came out of Cal?
throwing kicks and punches.
Wait,
Here we go.
USC.
Yeah,
He doesn't know.
Yeah, you get them throwing kicks and punches, and all of a sudden you've got a big monster movie and a small ring, basically. Because those MMA guys are not 335 pounds. That's not.
They're getting there.
Right.
The 335 guys, those are like offensive guards. They're not.
Right,
They're pretty soft.
Again, still, even the biggest MMA guys are some like the pro wrestlers that have moved over and so on and so forth. I mean, I remember when the Tank was like a big dude, and now you look at some of these MMA guys, and they're not only big, but they're ripped.
The Tank was the guy with the goatee and the flat
Yeah, he was
top.
basically the Street Fighter guy,
Yeah.
which was awesome because he brought in brute strength, and he's like, I'm gonna bring bar fight to the ring. What are you gonna do about it,
Yeah.
bitch?
I was wrong about Marcus Jones. Takes a big man to admit it. North Carolina.
Way to put yourself over.
1996 draft, round 1. I got him confused with John McLaughlin, number 95, an old Bucks player
He's trying to make up for it.
I understand.
that used to run on kickoffs. A big guy like that used to run on kickoff. They're trying to make the rules different for kickoff because it's like the most dangerous play.
He's making up for being wrong.
Oh, no,
by
I'm
answering
wrong.
questions
I'm
nobody
wrong.
asked.
No, more like he's preparing himself for the comments from viewers when
Yes.
they're like, well, technically.
If we got comments,
Listen.
we have listeners, we see numbers, but we don't see anybody.
What? You
wanting
guys
to-
aren't commenting?
We'll even
Rude.
take haters, man.
We had
Hey.
moved on to MMA superhuman fighting subspecies, and you're still worried about Marcus Jones.
I want to admit when I'm wrong. I'll always do that if I can, if I know. I had to look it up because that would eat me the whole time we're potting. But we wanted to talk about the kind of hiring process and how fucked it is nowadays online, basically.
Okay.
I mean, you hire a lot of people because you do a lot of video production, a lot of project based stuff that has a lot of freelancers and all that. I was trying to think of what are we going to talk about today, kind of thing, and I had someone hit me up about what do I do? How do I get an internship at like a PR company? And I was like, let me try to introduce you to a few, but it got me thinking about just the hiring process, and we've kind of talked about it a little bit in previous episodes, but I think it's still worth revisiting, even though we recently just talked about it. I feel like, and you, I know, are Damian, are a big proponent of this with your guys. If you want to be in the film kind of arena, if you want to do video, you're going to do it for free because there's a lot of people that want to do it.
Yes.
So if the market demands, there's not a market demand to do telemarketing, right? I mean, there is.
Yeah, no, but
you still have to get a
people
job.
people aren't lining up around the corner to try to get that one job at the telemarketers.
Right. And then, there's people that do it and realize it's not as sexy as they think it is. I'm sure you've dealt with that. But what's your attitude towards kind of picking up freelancers is a whole other area too.
When it comes to the freelance world, even in the internship world, when you're trying to hire somebody online or as a freelancer, the kind of golden rule, you hire who you know. So you either hire someone you know, or you ask somebody you know, do you know somebody that can fill this role? And they'll recommend somebody, and based on that word, that person automatically gets a one-up. I mean, it's who you know theory is absolutely, applies to the creative world. I think not just the video production world, but the creative world in general. If I was like, right now, hey, man, I need a logo designed, first thing I'm going to do is say, who do you know? Do you know anyone who designs logos? Because that means that someone else has trusted them with that work. And when it comes to creative and when it comes to things that require, like for example, when you mentioned the telemarketer is going to get in there and be like, I need no experience. I talk. Yes, I speak English. And here's my script. And they need very little training.
They don't have a style.
Right. They don't have to have a style to it. But once you start getting into the creative arts, their style, their eye, their responsiveness, there's like a lot of things that you're trusting this person to do. So you can't get through the creative project if one cog is just fucking up. You can't get through it.
So if you had like the PA intern that comes in and is trying to put their stank on it, and you're like, no.
Yeah, but you see that PA who we always say this, and if the PA comes in, everyone will sit there and not know the PA's name. But if PA's on top of like making sure that the coffee and that everything, we got a phone call.
That's my business line, man.
What?
No, there's no business right now. What?
Business during pod?
Mute
Okay.
that.
This episode brought to you by Grasshopper. Go to trygrasshopper.com/sweat. Get the hookup. Holler if you hear me. Trygrasshopper.com/sweat. And I think you get $50 off. Get a business line. Don't be a jabroni. That was actually on. We were supposed
We meant to do that.
Yeah.
Totally
Wow.
meant it.
Wow.
It's just we just do it kind of for fun.
Slick, right?
We just want it randomly.
That was pretty slick. I admit it. Yeah.
You had
Way to
no
break in a
idea.
commercial without me knowing.
Yeah, we set an alarm.
Bam. You just got added to.
But yeah, so the PA, you don't know the guy's name, and he may come on, guy or gal. The person may come on, and all of a sudden, you're like, yo, they were on top with the lunch orders. They made sure that the coffee was there. We never overflowed on the trash. If something needed to be grabbed from the truck, they went and got it and brought, and they were quick about it. They didn't sit there and try to flirt with somebody the entire time or ask too many questions. And you'll find out that somebody on that crew will know that person's name. And then when another crew gets put together, they'll sit there and say, hey, does anybody remember that one person, that one PA that was there? They were free, but they were like doing, they were just really good. Oh, yeah, that was Susan or John or whatever.
Hermano.
And then they call him up, and then that PA ends up on the next. I just kicked his water. The next PA shows up on that scene, and then after 2 or 3 of those freebies, all of a sudden it's like, no, get them some money, man, because they're good.
Oh, so you tip them out. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, no matter what job you're doing, the menial job, like it's hard to really implement for a lot of people, myself included. But try to treat it like it's the most important job you have ever. Like it's gonna be. This is like try to treat it as important as you think the director treats the whole thing. The producer treats the whole production with that attitude.
A lot of your stuff you can't put on a resume. You have to see the work ethic. You have to see how they operate.
And are you a resume? Do you even do a resume?
You do. I mean, here's something about a resume that anyone I've ever known that's ever employed anybody ever, they use the resume as the I call it the step one. Let me look at this. Did you even write a resume? Did you even is resume misspelled on resume? It's like you just look at it as like, this doesn't tell me who you are, but at least let me see if you got the basics down.
Yeah, you better do it.
Yeah. So
if I tell you to do something, will you do it?
Yeah. So it's like, okay, cool. You've got that, because I know in almost every resume that I've read, the person is way more either experienced in one thing or not experienced, because that's another thing too. If you take the resume exactly for as biblical, you're looking at it going, oh well, you've done this much in this field, you must be good at it with that much time put into it. But they could have sucked the entire time that they were doing that job.
Right. So I was always told, write how you added value in that position, right? So like, so it tells more of a story of why I should hire someone. And if you have it used to be like it was a bad thing if you had a lot of different jobs. Nowadays, I think it's the opposite. I think as our generation, mid-30s, late 30s, is kind of getting older, I would want someone that has done a bunch of different things, because I think that's you empathize with each cog of the wheel kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, what you said about it being a story makes sense, because they're going to want to look at that, your job history. Does it make sense why they moved on from here to here? was their added value something that they wanted to take elsewhere, sort of thing? Because if it's like random jobs from here to there, that really don't correlate, and it's kind of like, oh, they're probably just a bad employee,
Yeah, and one fun fact, here's some pragmatic advice. This is the point of the podcast, is there is a difference between submitting a PDF and submitting a doc file. And the reason this is important is because I need to look this up while we move on, but I think a doc or docx file can be scanned better by all these recruiter systems, all these HR kind of job submission. It basically scans it like it would an application on a credit card.
So you're saying when you're talking about
you think PDF would be more formal, right?
Well, PDF. Okay, so you're saying that the doc or docx would be great for when you're giving it to a resume site,
submitting online,
or a job site. But when you're emailing it to someone, I think the PDF still works better.
For sure. I think because PDF feels more formal because you can't edit it, right? So
I send that docx.
So docx,
edit my shit. I don't care.
When you're submitting for a job
What are you
online,
gonna do?
You need to do it in Word when it gives you the option, because for whatever reason, PDF doesn't scan as well in all these kind of programs all HR people use. And I didn't know that until recently, which is kind of weird. Why would you give that option? Why wouldn't you just make everything docx? But I guess if you don't have Microsoft Word, they're trying to give you another option. But I find it weird that there's like a system or a bunch of software that almost everybody uses that has the same bug, and that could really knock you out of it. So like the average job opening attracts 250 resumes according to Glassdoor in 2017. That is kind of insane to me, right?
Right.
So that tells me on a hiring basis, like we're not doing this right. We're like the online part doesn't really garner the best results as we think it should. You think Monster.com was going to change the game back in the day, and then now it's like
now it's just throwing a bunch of shit against the wall.
Right. So I found after talking to a bunch of people that it's like, yeah, it's shit on the wall. Some people could say spaghetti, see what sticks. You never heard that?
I throw shit at the wall.
And then he knows the spaghetti's working.
Yes.
It's
Makes
not
the spaghetti taste horrible.
Does it make me have botulism?
But yeah, how do you narrow down at 250 resumes unless it's random that you find the best person? Unless you go, nobody going through 250 resumes.
We're usually talking on a small, medium business level. We're talking about the office manager or overworked HR person that has to put the stuff out there, and they're probably overwhelmed.
Well, I think, you know what, and it may lower the number. I would love to do an A/B test on it. What if the job description or the request for the job position was just more specific to the point that it almost like, and I know there might be a HR flag about doing this, but being like adding personality traits and adding work history traits, like must have never worked at Taco Bell. I don't know why that's a problem, but it's one of these things like, look, if you worked at Taco Bell, I just don't want you to come here. So, I worked at Taco Bell, by the way, so I would just disqualified myself. But
so no gorditas.
Yeah, I mean
that's what I would call those Taco Bell people.
The gorditas.
We're not hiring any gorditas in here.
Yeah, they might think that you're talking about their weight, and then all of a sudden you're a fascist against heavyweight people.
It's moot anyway because you can't. I don't.
It's
think
a whole civil liberties.
Yeah,
issue
you can't do any of that. But here's what you can do, and here's the tip.
This is going to be LinkedIn, isn't it?
LinkedIn.
Here we go.
I have a boner for this because
big time boner.
Because
fleshy one.
You use the recruiter tool.
I was thinking more of a digital boner, but okay.
It's if you're looking for like soft skills, white collar people, LinkedIn's going to be the best way to do this. If you want to kind of work around a lot of these, the legalities of trying to figure out a personality of this person before, it's my push versus pull method of doing this. You can put a job out there and just wait for thousands of resumes, 250. You all right?
Yeah.
No, I couldn't tell if you're having a stroke.
No.
Your fist clenched up like Bob Dole, and then
you were doing You said push and pull, and I was doing a jerk off thing, just for me and the camera, and those people watching. So
see, this is entertaining on YouTube, Vimeo, all that. Facebook.
That's why I get to control the camera. I can do zoom ins whenever I want.
Yeah,
you can zoom in on
Damian.
It's a drinking game. Every time he does a jack off thing,
you guys drink.
Mm-hmm. So that is a bad system, right? It's a bad funnel essentially. And the method I've kind of created a little bit, but there's LinkedIn Recruiter. You can pay like $80 a month, and you can get way more specific information on their profile.
Mm-hmm.
You can also see their picture, right? A headshot means a lot, I think.
Shout out to Vadim.
Our friend Vadim. Yeah, Russian oligarch. No, he's
Headshot specialist.
Photogark.
he's a smile coach or something like that.
And a facial posing coach. He shows you how to pose your face.
Can you do the O face? Could you teach me that? And then not apologize after?
I want a few minutes
Sorry.
with that guy.
Sorry, you're so hot. Sorry. Oh.
He better be able to do all the faces.
Yeah.
He better be Jim Carrey.
Dude, he coached Jim Carrey.
No, he didn't. Shut up.
So,
That's a bad rumor.
so the recruiter tool will give you more profile information on everybody, and we've already talked about this a lot in every episode because I have a boner for LinkedIn because the data is more reliable. Because essentially, your profile is a resume, and most people will update it, even though they might not use LinkedIn a lot, or maybe check in on it once a year. Maybe they will update their resume a lot. To a reliability factor. There's
Right.
with online stats, and I don't want to get too far in this rabbit hole. It's reliability and relevancy kind of thing. And is it reliable? Is it relevant? And so that's why LinkedIn charges more for ads. So that tells me something. When it's 3 times as much to advertise on LinkedIn, that means their shit's good or better.
Yeah.
And there's not much to do, right? So they've made a channel that you can't do as much as Facebook. You can't.
Well, because
And
do you really want that much freedom on LinkedIn? It would take the professionalism away. I mean, it can get unprofessional sometimes.
Well,
there.
right, and they've somehow curved the culture of like, hey, let's keep it all business on here kind of thing, because you see a lot of these people trying to curve.
Well, it's
people
weird
into
when
that.
you have fitness models being their business. It's my business.
Right,
That
technically-
thong is a business expense.
You could see being a stay-at-home mom it's kind of like running a business. I mean, there's
Yes.
a bunch of parallels, but I don't know how they did it, but they've gotten the users to really curve other users into going, hey, let's keep this.
Hey, cut
content
the shit,
business-
okay?
Let's keep this business content, or content business, which is boring for the most part because people are posting.
But useful.
Yeah, but it's not personalized. They're posting like very corporated memes and like, it's not. It could be better in that direction, I think.
But it's easy to be unique on LinkedIn.
Right, we've done a poor job of getting this show out there on there, but we're gonna.
Hey
work
guys, if you guys are watching and listening right now, please let's not make these guys feel so lonely. Comment and write something so that way we know that there is a pulse to the people that are listening to this, and it's not some sort of ad bot just trying to make our egos feel better.
So maybe I'll try to live stream
Yes.
from my phone a little
Oh.
bit.
Yeah,
I've been meaning to
let's
do
let's
that.
get interactive right now. I know that the ratings always go up when I'm on here, so I'm trying to help them out.
If anything, we get to hear him be dad mad at LinkedIn not working.
So
Why does it look like we're in
We're
a
very
sauna?
foggy. Yeah,
yeah,
it's-
because I don't clean my
No way.
screen.
that is
That is gross.
Is that the
Is that
screen?
peanut butter?
Yeah, it's peanut butter. Yeah,
Ah,
no,
Very
it's an effect,
thin-
guys.
Thin film.
We're in heaven.
Okay, heaven.
So
No, we're not.
I'm in heaven.
what I was saying about LinkedIn is that if you want to hire someone, here's a trick you can do: is you can search. So I pay for the premium account. It's $30, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can see how many people look at your profile, which is super creepy. And I like to send a screenshot and go, "I see you looking at me, girl." Like, and to everybody
No,
that
them
Even
looking at you-
creepier.
Yeah,
I know,
yeah,
no, it
them
makes
looking
it-
at you is not creepy. That is creepy.
It'll be like so and so looked at your profile, and I'd be like, "Stop creeping on me, man. This is fucking weird." And so that's my fun little game I like to play for the $30 I pay more. But what you can do is see how many people look at your profile the more you pay attention to it. So if you keyword your profile correctly, right, as a consultant, I just started putting everything as a different job because I was putting this firm as my job the last 3 years, but I wasn't getting a lot of like. You should be getting a lot of traffic from like recruiters, right?
So they think you have 18 jobs right now?
Like 30. The only ones I can really list are like I can only put like about 30 or 40
Oh,
because
just 30 or 40?
out of 400 people we've helped
I'm just saying.
in 3 years.
So you have no problem showing that you are employed by 30 different
I
people.
wanted to try it. I wanted to see how it goes, right?
Uh-huh.
Because if anybody asks, they're going to get it. They're going to see that it's like, oh, it's not like I just started somewhere for 3 days and then left. They're going to see the overlap in the.
Well, I've always said that when you go from working for somebody to being your own boss, you go from one boss to maybe 30, 40, or 400 in your case.
Right.
Because all your clients are your bosses in some way, shape, or form.
Exactly. Yeah, that is a weird entrepreneurial kind of misnomer. I work for myself. No, you work for the people that
For
pay you.
everybody
Right.
else.
You
Yeah.
have more bosses than you can imagine.
Yeah, you now have
Whoops.
a bunch of masters.
You're the bitch now.
So if you want to hire people, here's a trick you can do. Get the premium account for 30 instead of the recruiter, which I think is 80 a month. And you can get like 10 to 15 in-mails, the messaging on LinkedIn, where you can send, you can search for people, but you can kind of search for that sweet spot, right? So legally, when you have a job description, you can't go, I want someone that's got some experience that's 25, that, because I don't want to pay too much, but if they're too good, they're not going to work. It's not going to work out. So you're trying to find that sweet spot, right? This way you can kind of go, hey, you can search in the top advanced search part and then go, all right, someone that's working in this area now currently, because you probably want to pull someone out. And then by their profile picture, just like girls have crazy eyes,
Right.
and you can tell some bros are going to be trouble in their headshot. You don't send those people anything. You're just like, this is how you can kind of filter a little bit of the crazy,
You're a walking HR complaint waiting to happen.
Why?
Because of all that shit you just said.
Why? I didn't do anything. We don't have it.
I know you didn't do anything. I'm just saying the character you're playing.
You're saying currently, right now, that you can, on LinkedIn, profile your future employees based on their look.
It's no.
And race.
I said you can. I didn't say you should. I said you can.
You can, and nobody will
I'm,
know.
I'm clarifying what Eric meant by that.
But you can't. You are allowed to send an email and go, hey, do you want to apply for this job? Right?
Yes.
It's up to you if you want to make sure that you're hitting all the demographics. If you want,
I completely understand. Listen, as someone who can sit there on LinkedIn and at first cropped his locks out, and I have glasses on. Anyone looks at my LinkedIn profile, I have glasses on. I don't wear glasses. I cropped my locks out and I put on glasses because it made me look like less threatening.
Why are you telling on yourself right now?
I don't give a damn. And no, honestly,
Obviously.
I'm changing the picture because I looked at it and I'm going, anyone who's met me has never seen me this way. I do like to wear the glasses because every now and then they look cool, Clark Kent style.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just one of the things that I was like, only few people have ever met me and I've looked that way. And everyone, is always like, oh my God, that's
I got to see this picture.
Oh yeah, I'll show it to you.
it's pretty
awesome.
girthy. Here's the thing. Here's what I would say too. So when you're doing your LinkedIn profile, here's what I found too by just testing this out. This has been a slow test, a slow burn project I've been doing for funsies.
Tell me about it.
That you can. What you should do is when you look at putting your job
BRB.
description, and you put your job descriptions on there, go look at the jobs you want in that same, or go look at a job description elsewhere, right?
Mm-hmm.
So say you were administrative assistant at insurance company. Okay. Now I would go look at the job description for that.
And you go back and you change
and
it.
you put all the keywords in your profile.
I was a key grip at McDonald's.
A key grip?
Yeah.
What is that?
They work on a movie set. Grips are the guys that go and they get shit. They're gripping things.
Gripping it out, yeah.
Everybody's seen that on the credits.
You've
Well,
done
that was a joke about how there's no grips at McDonald's.
Oh, really? Well, I'm going to hit the...
Where'd Damian go? He would have got it.
Damian bounced. No, I got it, I think. This is sweat equity. This
I'm
is
going to
what it's
repeat
about.
it to Damian. I'm going to repeat it. Just play it cool
All
like
right, we're
I'm
going to
saying
say
it for
bye
the
to
first time.
LinkedIn
Bye, LinkedIn.
as we were doing that.
Can't believe you held your arm up for that long.
I know, it's tired. It's so sad. If I have to have a phone call where I have to put the phone to my ear
Forget it.
for more than like 3 minutes, I'm like, God, this is bullshit.
Burning.
I'm such white privilege. So I would say keyword your resume or keyword your LinkedIn profile, which is essentially a resume, correctly. I did it, and I would get all these recruiters hitting me up. Hey, there's this job, and I put my number if they want it, they can call me.
Yeah.
And I would get calls like that were like legit too. Like I thought it was going to be a bunch of crap, and it would be like, hey, there's there's an agency that needs a like, what was a really good one? Supply chain kind of ops, but for the marketing department. And I was like, that's some high level shit. Okay.
I mean, dude, I get hit up all the time with just random LinkedIn stuff, whether it's people wanting to be guests on the show or whatever. But like, it's just
I want to show the corniness of the.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, they are pie,
Hey, Eric.
pie in the sky.
It's been a while
Yeah,
since we
it's all-
talked. You
it's
got a
all
really great network. It looks like.
It's all form messages, you know.
I want
But
to like.
still.
It seems like the Ethiopian or Nigerian email scam, like all those email,
Oh, yeah,
all those messages that come in.
Right. But, you know, it's still, you get way more. I've never followed through on any of the shit, but, you know, it seems much more promising leads on things like that through LinkedIn.
Well, I think
Because you have to have like it's a little bit more official. I think, you know, there's like more background to it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you won't lie on there because of the social pressure, right? You can lie on your resume, but it's going to be hard to lie on LinkedIn because it's public. And so there's that social contract aspect to it that keeps you honest. You know,
You don't want to get blacklisted on LinkedIn.
well, you don't. Yeah, well, you don't
Play
want
for
recruiters
keeps.
to like, you know, you don't want people to call you out on that. My sister called me up and said, "Hey, you don't have an MBA. You didn't finish business school, or you didn't go to business school." And I was like, "No, I didn't." I didn't
tell mom?
No, she did. She's 10 years older than me. And I was like, hey, what? I went to business school. I didn't finish. I fully admit that. But it I guess it can look like I say I did. I burned out. Like I burned out and got like a C. You get whatever under, like, it was like a 299, and that kicks you out of the distance program. And I'm like, I fully tell everybody that. Like,
Kind of bullshit.
yeah, it's whatever. Why would you have an ABCD system if you have to get a B? Like, why?
Yeah,
why
make
wouldn't
it
you
pass or fail.
Right. Insane. But that's neither here nor there. I just like that she called me out. I was like, you didn't go to business school. I was like, are you serious?
I technically did.
But had to like call me up or text me to ream me about it. And I was like, so there is something about that where she felt I was lying to where like, to the point where like, hey, that's not cool. You shouldn't be doing that. And that's not going to be, she's worried about me. I know that's why.
I mean, I believe in family, but LinkedIn above family, okay? You need to change that shit.
Well, no, I mean, she's been my second mom my whole life kind of thing. So I get what she's doing. She's like, hey, get your shit together. Because if I was really lying, she'd be valid in that kind of statement.
Yes.
So it's just funny though, you know, I've had more people and I have more in-person conversations about stuff I post on LinkedIn once I started paying attention to it than any other social media thing.
Yeah, it's taken more seriously. It's Facebook for grown-ups.
Well, I did your 4:30 wake up for a while in February, and that I would try to take a picture and try to write something a little bit, like a little creative writing while I was walking the dog, and then my wife called me a douchebag, and I stopped doing it. But because she's like, "Why are you putting your feelings journal on there?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
What's with all the feelings, dude?
It's for accountability. That's kind of why I'm posting it. That's why Jocko posted it, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, where are we at? What's
30. We got some time.
30
I'm
what?
waiting for Damian to come back so I can
30
bust
what?
him with my key grip joke.
Oh wow! You're your dad joke pushing.
Yes.
I still don't get the joke.
I don't even remember the joke, to be honest.
Man. we got a we got a silly Eric.
Oh,
time.
okay. I remember what it was. Okay.
That's so rude. I am sorry.
It's
Damian.
okay.
I just happen to have the water guy and the cable guy show up at the exact same time, and they were supposed to show
Adam
up before
Sandler and Jim Carrey?
See, that was good.
That's a good joke. Okay. No, we were just talking about how I told him. We were talking
you were gonna go
about
with Larry.
changing your LinkedIn past profiles or past job descriptions to something you want now. And I said you could change it. Say you were a key grip at McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
Crickets from Law. And now crickets from you.
I tried to steamroll it.
I
And
understand there's no such thing
he
as a
didn't-
key grip at McDonald's, but I'm still wondering, like, did he mean that? Is it the alcohol?
The joke is that the alcohol. that the description is not real because you're going back and changing your LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that might be my best joke ever, guys.
Wow. I wish we had that Price
Grand
is Right horn.
Slam.
What?
I knew it wasn't going to kill with Damian. I just wanted to get it out.
No, I
what
heard it.
You know what's funny is the story. The story is funny.
Exactly.
The retelling of the story in a dad push joke way. Eric's on fire today. You're in the zone. I think we got to end it on that. I don't think.
Don't try and top that.
I mean, how do you? That's your closer. How do you do any more? You can't.
Key
tag,
grip at McDonald's and I'm out, yo.
You can't tag that. All right. Well, Sweat Equity Podcast. We're on all things podcasts are available on Spotify, Pirate Bay. Whatever.
Hey guys, don't forget, comment. Write some stuff down. I feel like we'll answer that if you actually write something for us.
Good or
Some
bad.
Oklahoma drills today.
Yeah, getting that gauntlet.
Troll us, for God's sakes.
That's not what I said. Get some pads. Go out, hit somebody.
If you manage anybody, like you do with helmets in training camp, I want you to write their last name on their forehead so you remember them.
Make
That's
them
a tip.
earn
This is a
their
game
lunch.
of inches.
Yeah. Oh,
Ah.
it's the 6 inches in front of your face. That's my Al Pacino. And any given Sunday.